Hello, everybody. Good evening. I don't know if you can hear me. So, good evening. Good evening, class. Welcome to Ladies in Tech Africa. This is the project management class. I'm your instructor, Nancy Baba Ali. Welcome to another session of quality project management. So, with me also, I have Mr. Kingsley as my co-instructor. The sends his regards and is with us from the other end. So without further ado, can we get into today's class? I don't know, can anybody hear me in class today? Or is the network down? Okay, that's great. Good evening, Oha Idima. Hi, Kainde. Nice to have you in class. Doesn't seem that there are much persons in class today. Good evening, Elizabeth. Good evening, Rebecca. Hello, class. So, without further ado, I think we could do a quick update on where we are at today. How is the team project going along, everybody? I see Mr. Kingsley attending to a lot of persons. Hello, Egolf. Welcome to class. I see a lot of persons speaking in the platforms about their team plans with Mr. Kingsley. So how has that been going? Hello, Elizabeth. Hi, Angel. Welcome to class. Hi, Omodlabi Opeyemi. Good evening, Omalade. Oh, thank you. Hi, Elizabeth, and hello, Kemi. So, as we're saying, or as I was saying earlier, how has the team project been going on with everybody? How has it been going? Has there been much change from the previous class, which was on Wednesday? Are your team members now working alongside with you as a team? Are they um, giving feedbacks, insight? How has the project been going overall? Great, great, Adija. Okay, that's really nice to hear that your team members are willing to change and add in their own work, put in their own backs. That's good to hear. Hi, Inemisit Thompson. I don't know. That sounds very. Oh, hello, Teresa. Welcome to class. So, Obi Adejoke has something to say about the team project. But okay, since that is just it, I guess we can proceed. Okay. So prior to today, we had a class on Wednesday, right, where we spoke about quality standards and metrics. And I don't know, were you guys able to go through the slides, or you didn't get the slides? Hmm. The class is super quiet today. Is it because of the topic that is making everybody quiet today? Or is it because it's the end of the week and everybody is just trying to get that last minute of rest? Okay, so I'll just take the silence as, you know, something for me to just move ahead with the classes. So I wanted to do a quick recap. Oh, Inimisit Thompson said it's been a stressful week. I'm sorry about that. It's finally the weekend, so you're definitely going to get that needed and much rest. Well done. God is your strength. So let me do a quick recap about everything. Today, I'm going to do everybody a favor and hopefully myself. The class won't be. Yeah, thank goodness you went through. I'm glad you got the slides and I'm glad you went through it. So, meaning that today's class wouldn't be as long as usual. Today's class is most likely going to be shorter. than the usual time that we set for it. So that could be it. Thank God it's Friday treat for you guys. So in the last class, we spoke about standard qualities of matrix and quality. Uh, so, oh God, why do the slides always fight with me? Okay. So last class we spoke about quality standards and metrics in project management. Esther says thank you. No problem. Not a problem. Thank God. We went through quality standards and metrics in project management, right? And we spoke about how by quality standards and quality metrics, right? It's it's the act of being of unique and invaluable results to your project, be it in resources, labor, or be it in the part whereby you're trying to track the progress of your project or products that you are overseeing, right? We mentioned about the quality standards and how we can improve, rather, how we can improve in and how we can improve and how we can make sure that our project has reliability. It can be a soft landing for your team members, which you can also say safety, how it can be consistent, and how the outcome of the project or product or project or products can have a very optimum result to what you have planned. It aligns with also your stakeholders and also with you as a project manager, with your team members, and the overall outcome of the project, right? So we spoke about characteristics of quality standards, which is define expectations, consistency, compliance, and customer satisfaction. We gave an example of whereby stakeholders, if they aren't carried along, which in this point where I said you can use Kaizen methodology, whereby your stakeholders are being carried along in the whole process, in the whole thought process, in the whole action process, and the whole procedure process, and also in the outcome process, right? If they're not being taken, if they're not taken along in this process, and you're not giving them consistent feedback, and you're not, it's not understandable to them, it's not clear enough, and it does not go in line with the laws of the company, does not go in line with the laws of the industry, does not go in line with the laws of that nation or state or region, right? All this can affect your project, and which thereby these are the four main characteristics here, and many other that you can use to make sure that your project has standards, it's reach up to the maximum, or yeah, to the maximum quality standards that as a project manager you're supposed to put in as much work into your project or to the product that you are working on or you are spearheading or leading. Thank you, Tosin Odebumi. I love her already. Tell her Mrs. Nancy. Sorry, Miss Nancy says hi. Miss Nancy says hi. Sorry. So and then we move to quality metrics, which is whereby you track the whole process of your project, right? You track the whole life cycle, you track and monitor your team members, you track and monitor the resources, the budget, you track and monitor how the process has been going, you understand, and you also try to control, and based on what you have, based on the feedback or results that you have, you understand, based on the quality and everything that you have, you then make good decisions So all these are very vital and very important. And for the characteristics of quality matrix, we spoke about having measurable, relevant, actionable, and time bound, which is also similar to the first time that we're speaking about SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, and time bound, right? And so for this 4 pointers, this can also help you with your matrix, right? Because if you can have it, if you can be specific and you have a goal, then you can try to measure the way you can go about it. You can plan, you can schedule, you can try to forecast, all under measurable. And then you can set time or phases. You can also set how much you estimation that you feel would be to the project, right? And then for the relevance, you could also think about how important it is for you to get some of the resources, how unimportant some of them are. It's not because of it's supposed to be a school, you have to be thinking of buying beds or sofas, or maybe the department for the kitchen, maybe the school has a kitchen that wants to be catering to the students, then that could be considered, right? But you don't have to necessarily be thinking of all these furnitures or curtains because it's a school. You just need windows, you just need doors, you just need tables and chairs and a maybe whiteboard or a chalkboard, depending on what it is, right? So you need to think of all those resources. Are they important? Are they relevant? What is most needed, right? All these are very things that you have to put into consideration when you're thinking about that. Then for actionable, you have to put in as much. Sorry, Ego. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So for actionable, you have to be smart, you have to be up and doing, you have to think about decisions that will be beneficial to the project. You have to think of which strategy you're supposed to use to get it. How are you going to be getting, how are you supposed to get these resources? Are you going to outsource? Is it going to be in-house? Are you going to be looking for, you know, laborers, helter skelter, or you're going to be looking for agencies that render these services, right? You have to think of all this as well when you're being actionable. That's why it's very important for you to do like research market, right? You have to always try your best to go into the market, try to put your hands and legs in deep, know how much the prices of everything cost. Is it important for you to get this in your building? Is it important for you to get that in the building? Is it necessary? Is it not necessary? All of this have to be important when you're thinking about being actionable, and good decision making too as well, like I mentioned earlier. Hi Sarah too. Hi, okay Grace. Hello Dockers. I'm sorry about the network too. Hello Oltoyosi Elimi. Hi Rolio. Hi Mary. So yeah, and then time bound. We're always talking about having phases and making sure that they all have deadlines. And we're also talking about how the overtime or the overview of a project is supposed to be like, right? We're always mentioning that it's very important for your project to have a realistic time that is also attainable and is also reasonable. You have to be very realistic about all of this, about when you're trying to make sure that you're managing and keeping tabs on metrics. So these are like the characteristics for quality metrics. So I'm just going to go to the pointers. You already have the points, you already have the slides, so we're just going to slide through and then move to today's topic so that everybody can go and rest and enjoy the weekend. So we have types of quality metrics. We have process metrics, and under process metrics, we have inefficiencies that can come up, bottlenecks, areas that need process improvements, its effective and efficiency of processes used in the project, right? And these processes or just methodologies that you can use for this is cycle time. Good evening, blessing. Circle time, process efficiency, defect removal efficiency. For circle time, it means that you have to make sure that start and finish time for each phase or each project or each timeline or stage is being attended to, right? And you have to make sure that no matter what, you have to also circle back to also reevaluate and see how far you've come, what decisions you could use to make better for the next phase. And if you can even take up two tasks at a go, even though the timelining may be different like that, but you can cover it at the same time. All these are very important things that you have to put into consideration, right? So we have process efficiency, whereby the percentage of total process time that adds value to the final product or service. Like we mentioned, labor time, the yeah, sorry, labor time, the processes, the workers, the resources, the suppliers, uh, the action plan, the planning, the schedule, the process efficiency, how efficient has been the methodology that you've picked. Have you picked, if you picked agile, okay, if you picked agile methodology, you are picking from phase A, you're picking from phase D, you're picking from phase E, you're picking from phase G. For people that have done their Gantt chart, I'm sure you can understand where this talk is coming from, right? So you have to think about all this. Okay, if you use agile, you can do, it's flexible. Um, it's not as rigid as um, waterfall, and what's the other ones as well. God, yeah, hybrid. Yeah, it's not as hard as waterfall or hybrid. Hybrid has it has um a mixture of both what do you call it, agile and waterfall, but waterfall is much more. Thank you so much, Teresa. Thank you, Idima. Yes, it's much more like it's not as rigid as waterfall, but hybrid has a mixture of both waterfall and agile, meaning that there are times where you can be flexible but not too flexible, and there are times where you can be what is it called, um straight, you can be direct and not try putting your hands in so many oceans or so many waters, or yes, I'm using water for hands in waters. Yeah, or so many structures, right? Yeah, so it depends on which methodology you choose to use and how efficient. If it's something that you're using agile and you notice that everybody is still not being proactive, then maybe you should pick up waterfall, because waterfall means that we're done with this step, you go into the next step. I'm not going to give you room to say, okay, because of we used the agile methodology and you're bombarded with work, or you're bombarded with too many phases. So yeah, this kind of thing can be very what's the word, draining and exhausting. So you could just decide to either pick waterfall or hybrid. So yeah, process efficiency just picks up the methodology style you use, the process in which your charting is, or your planning or scheduling. What if we say, okay, in the next 2 weeks, we're supposed to be done with roofing, we're supposed to be done with the grading, we're supposed to be done with maybe the tiles, all of that. And then the laborers are not working, and you come back in the next 3 weeks, and the only thing they've done is just roofing and grading, no tiles, or is it screeding? No tiles, nothing, right? So you have to sit down, reevaluate all of those things. Okay, the metrics is poor. The result of the metrics of this methodology style that we've taken is poor, or the planning is poor. So how do we boost back efficiency? How do we cut back waste and all? So that's also for defect removal efficiency. So the defects that are successfully identified and removed during the development phase, meaning those glitches, those small problems, what are we wasting our resources on? Can we just sit back and look at the board again and we evaluate and make sure that we sort this out? let us get it done ASAP, because the more time we waste, the more resources we waste, the more labor we waste, the more money we're wasting, the more it's affecting the budget. You understand? You have to put all of this into consideration. And then, yeah, that's just it for the process metrics and product metrics, meaning, so I will use for products, we can use still the structure, but let's use maybe a software or an app whereby defect density, density, the number of defects identified per unit of measurement, meaning that whenever you get a product, how many defects or how many shortcomings or how many problems did you face in trying to get this product done, and is it affecting our timeline, is it affecting the phases, other phases from being accomplished, and mean time to failure, which is product or system operates from failure occurs, pretty much almost the same thing. The failure, the consistent time of failures that you keep having. So you have to look at all this and also put it in metrics. We had, like, let's say 5 times more failure than usual, or we had 6 times more failure than usual, or we had 2 times more failure than usual. So is it bad? Is it good? Is it something that we should work harder to see that, okay, by the end of each week we should just at least have 2 failures, so that we don't stay longer in a project or in a product? You have to put all of this into consideration, right? So yeah, that's one of the pointers that you can use for that. So in the next slide, like I said, we all have the slides, so we can just skim through. We have customer satisfaction metrics, and under this matrix, we have net promoter scores, customer satisfaction score, and customer complaints. Pretty much just you getting feedbacks from your customers. Ha, Oga, this our product. Did you enjoy it? Okay, 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 great. Okay, will you recommend our product to this person? Okay, 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 okay. Customer complaint. The product is good, but I don't like it. Maybe if you change the color to purple, or maybe if the interface is just white instead of all those blue colors you're putting, and maybe I would want to use the app more. Those are complaints that can come up, and that's like how mostly customer satisfaction can tend to be, right? You tend to hear a lot of feedback, even from even normal bonds that you're selling on the road, right? Somebody will be like, I don't like this woman's bonds because of it has too much oil. Somebody will be like, I really love her bonds because it's really big. I like the amount. Somebody can be like, madam, instead of doing your bonds like this, can't you just put egg inside so that it to be like egg roll? You understand? So I'm sorry for the very different examples, but I said today I was going to use a lot of examples. So yes, that's it for customer satisfaction and satisfaction metrics. So you're meant to put all of this into maybe into a document or an Excel sheet, or whatever form of documentation that you want to use, Notion, whatever, and make sure that you use this feedback to be able to help you, and to also note the growth rate. If your company was at 10% by the end of the month, by last month or by 2 months back, if people were just 10% in the growth gross, and then in the next 2 months, because of you used so much feedback from persons in the space, or from your customers, or from your clients, or from your team members, you then notice that, okay, we are getting more traction, we're getting more people to buy our product, we're getting more customers or clients or stakeholders to invest in our companies. So everybody goes happy, because yes, there is the customer is always right. So project performance matrix, this is cost of quality, schedule variance, first class yield, meaning the amount that we've spent. How you need to have somebody that's always going to be checking your finances, even if it's not just you as the PM, but very advisable that you have small, or you have little financial skills to be able to help do auditing at times. But it's good for you to also have a professional to look into this. It's good for you to have a professional to always look at your audit, your finances, your expenditures, things you have spent on, the balance sheet. All of these are very important for you to have knowledge about too as well. so that you can track where the resources are going, so you can track where the problems are stemming from, what is not necessary anymore, and you maybe it's not even important. Let's say this is not this I'm not coming out for anybody, but like how they say in some companies, the only thing they provide for their staffs is just water dispenser, right? So maybe let's say beforehand, the company was providing for the the workers or the staff food. They were providing for them lunch. They were providing for them breakfast. Let's say breakfast and lunch, right? And then along the way, there's still no productivity. It's costing a lot of money to be able to retain this. Then your HR and your project manager would then decide and say that, okay, since they're not being productive enough, it's not for us to just cut down the food and everything and just provide them water dispenser to be drinking. Maybe if they take more water to ginger them to work. It sounds cruel, but these are things that might just pop up in a project that you have to rectify, right? So hopefully it's never going to reach to that level, but still, these are things you have to also that people definitely put into consideration. Might not be fair, but it's so that you can make sure that the performance and also the resources aren't going to waste and it's not affecting the budget, right? Hello, Shay. Hello, Motola. Welcome to class. We're still doing recaps. So, developing and implementing quality standards and metrics. We said identify quality objectives, select relevant standard, define key metrics, and establish baseline measurements. Meaning, in a nutshell, make sure that the problems or each phase is stated, it's clear, you're specific, you're concise, and also you can make sure that for identifying quality objectives, you have reliability, durability, and compliance. How much people understand it, how durable, how the strength of the project, the strength of the what's it called? Yeah, the strength of the project, the strength of the product. Make sure that it's something that once people also even see it, the level of trust should be very should be above average to some level, right? It should be very strong. It should be very trustworthy and very reliable. Select relevant standards. These are all the methodologies that you choose to use in documenting and the guidelines you wish to follow, either from Six Sigma or ISO, right? Or is it ISO? Sorry, ISO. Yes, and objectives and industry requirements, right? These are things that you have to put into consideration. Defining key metrics. This could be productivity, this can be customer satisfaction, this can be resource use, this can be whatever you choose to be your KPIs, right? Whatever you choose to be your KPIs, make sure that it's very defined and it's clear and it's understandable for yourself and your team members and stakeholders to be able to understand, and establish baseline measurements, meaning that for each phase, for each stage, it should be measured. Meaning that if you do, let's say you in the charting, let's say that it's 10 over 10, right? For each week, instead of for, let's say in a week, we have 5 days, 5 working days, 2 resting days, right? And then you then say, the marking scheme for this week is going to be 10 over 10, meaning that you're supposed to handle two tasks from your task listing and for the next 5 days, which leads to 10 over 10, which could draw in more incentives for you, which can be rewarding to you personally, and you can also get other rewards, right? And all these are things that you have to also put into consideration, right? So yeah. Okay. Um, it's a quality. So sorry. What was her name again? Idima. Like I mentioned, there are methodologies. There are like guidelines that help you to in project management. If you type in ISO, Six Sigma, and TQM, these are like they are quality management approaches that you can use. You understand, to make sure that your project reaches some level of success or growth, right? So that's what TQM is. It's total quality management. Total quality management. I hope that answers your question. Thank you, Mary. Yes, very reliable, very demure. So there are other pointers. We're going to just take four and move ahead. Challenging in implementing quality standards. We said choosing the right standards by selecting the right methodology, right, to use for your project, right? It's very important. Like how I said, agile is one that is very in use in a lot of industries, in a lot of companies. They believe that the flexibility gives them a higher rate, a higher rate or range of success, project success, while some believe that waterfall is the best way because it's just a step-by-step process and everybody has to be clear on it. But for me personally, I feel flexibility is always something you have to think about in project management because there are some projects that surprisingly you have to put in not too much pressure and still try your best to be as diverse as you can be with your listing. They can take in a step that's supposed to be maybe during the process of the event during that time, and it will still make sure that the project comes out in good fitting, because before you then reach that process there could even be a better alternative that you can take, and then you then use it and you're like, oh, thank goodness we had started it earlier and now we're here, and there's a better way, there's a much cheaper way that we could have, that we are using to get over it, right? So these are things you have to consider too as well when you pick the right standards in your metrics, so that you can be able to in the methodology and in the processing. The thing about metrics is that it will always give you results, right? It will always give you data to work with, meaning that you will always have um, a a a blueprint for you to follow, for you to make right decisions, or for you to always go back, reevaluate, and redesign or resketch or reevaluate yourself. So yeah, that's the amazing thing about metrics. And then defining useful metrics is in the metrics. Could it be that customer satisfaction is what we're going to be more about, or we're going to be about the process, or we're going to be about resources, or we're going to be about the budgeting? There are a lot of metrics you can use, right? There's a lot of metrics you can use. So whilst you put this into consideration, right, it helps you to narrow down your search. It helps you to narrow down your research and also gives you the best of results and the best of both worlds as as a project manager. So and resource constraint, meaning when we have the budgeting, when we have the resources, let's say we did our market research and we got everything in good time, and with the inflation in the country now, things are now high, things are now on the plus side. Thankfully we are not going to buy any wood, thankfully we're not going to buy any decorations, we're not going to buy anything because we have already gotten this. The only thing that we're going to be spending our money or our funds on is just maybe rentals, right? Maybe just rentals for chairs, or maybe just what can we say we can get for just a short period of time? Maybe food. Yeah, maybe food. That's just what we'll be spending our money on, and labor power. Yeah. Um payments, right? Payments for each of maybe the stage, the persons we're sourcing for, or the services we're paying for. These are things that we might just end up being spending money for, right? But Idima, I hope I answered your question. I hope I answered your question. Okay. Then we have resistance to change. Firms may resist new quality control processes or perceive them as unnecessary. So, like I mentioned, there are some things that will be that along the way will not be necessary in your project. There are some things that even when they make um, good and tangible ideas or pointers that you can use in the project. To you, you just look at it and be like, oh, okay, we already have this at the back of our hands, or we already have this as some of the resources in store. So what else? Thank you so much, Idima. So what else do you think we need to spend on? And so because of when you have everything aligned, everybody already knows what they're supposed to do. It helps you to reduce unnecessary costs. It helps you to reduce unnecessary challenges along the way, and it just helps you to make it helps everything makes it seamless, right? Everything becomes seamless, everything becomes easy. It will even be like magic in your eye how everything will just be going well. I haven't seen Shoma and Omadasola in class today. I hope they are well. Okay, but regardless, in case they're in the class, hello, and in case they're not, hello regardless. So today's class is continuous improvement in project management. Thankfully, we're here today. So in continuous improvement in project management, welcome, welcome. So yes, what does life is? I'm sorry, life is doing that to you, but I promise you, uh, greater things are coming and everything's gonna be better. I can promise you that. I assure you that. So continuous improvement in project management. These are methodologies or pointers or characteristics that personally I feel you can use to make sure that your project reaches the best that it can be, and make sure that it puts you in a very good light as a project manager, and it also puts you in a very marketable space, because your your project is going to be unique. Persons are going to reach out to you to handle their project, be it products or project. It all depends, right? It all depends on what you are investing in, or what your insights are needed most on, right? So these are things you have to put into consideration. So in the introduction today, Uh, sorry, beautiful gift. Network is not friendly today. Don't worry. Uh, we can always watch the class. You can always watch the class, and I sent the slides. I gave the slides to the class for their perusal, so you can go through that too as well. Before, like, we can then do our recap questions and excuse me, recap questions and quiz, right? So Uh, continuous improvement is an ongoing effort to enhance products, services, or processes. It involves making incremental improvements over time or implementing breakthrough changes that improve efficiency, quality, or productivity. In project management, continuous improvement plays a vital role in ensuring that both the processes and outputs are refined and optimized throughout the project lifecycle. The core philosophy behind continuous improvement is the belief that there is always room for enhancement. By continually assessing and improving processes, teams can deliver higher quality results, reduce inefficiencies, and adapt to changing conditions more effectively. So because of in a nutshell, what this is saying, so because of everything is working fine, everything is working good, doesn't mean that you shouldn't challenge the status quo, right? You shouldn't want to know of a way that to do things better. Shouldn't mean that if because of we're getting 70%, doesn't mean that we should not test the waters and try to see if we can reach 100%, right? So the more you try to continually reevaluate yourself, try to improve the project, it makes it more valuable, not just in the market, but also increases productivity in the team members in the company. It reduces inefficiencies, meaning that all those times that your team members are either lagging up doing something unproductive or just helping waste funds, right? They can have maybe self-taught classes. They can have courses that can be incorporated with them, maybe in communications, maybe in whatever field they are in the industry. Maybe if they're in architectural, they could have courses or workshops that they can be taking that can help improve productivity in the team. Or do we get team bonding activities, right? Do we get team bonding activities to increase productivities? All of those are things that one consider so that your product or your company or the project can last longer and have a very good timeline or efficiency in the market, right? It just helps make the company to stand out more. So these are things to be considered. We also have pointers. I'm coming to. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So we have principles of continuous improvement, which is incremental changes, customer focus, employee involvement, data driven decisions. Incremental changes. Uh, it allows for continuous steady progress without disrupting flows, meaning that, like I mentioned, they could always have classes, right? They could always have classes. They could always have courses that could help in team bonding, that can help in proper communications. There could be communication skills. There could be workshops amongst team members, or you can outsource for persons that are professionals in their field, right? To come and help the company in places that are lacking. Just because of everything is going smoothly doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to improve productivity. The 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 what's that saying? There's a saying that says the the killer of average is trying to be the best. I can't remember how that saying goes, but that's how it's something like that. So because of you are okay where you are doesn't mean you shouldn't try to be better or try to look for better ways to improve efficiency amongst your team members or the workspace or even with the suppliers. There are some suppliers that for them to supply for you your materials, it's going to be a problem. That doesn't mean that you should not look for other companies. There are plenty companies, there are plenty entrepreneurs that are coming up right now, and they can also give you discounts. They can give you amazing services for even the little amounts that you get that you're giving maybe that person, right? I'm not saying that you should throw away your contacts, so but if they are not trying to grow themselves too as well, because everybody's all about growth. If they're not trying to outgrow where they are too as well, then you look for the best, right? You look for the best too as well. That's just my point, Sham. Then we have customer focus, feedback and satisfaction. Teams can ensure their improvement and aligned with client expectations. Sorry. Uh, thank you. Egov knows the saying. The Egov said, "The killer of tomorrow's success is today's success." Ah, thank you very much. The killer of tomorrow's success is today's success. Just read it as it is. Okay, thank you. I think that is it, right? Oh, were you quoting me? Yes, I'm sorry. So yeah, we have customer focus. Remember the example I gave you with the puff puff woman on the road, right? The puff puff woman on the road might just be harmlessly making her puff puff, and somebody is not liking it, and then maybe somebody can just say, "Oh, this woman does not know that if she puts egg in her puff puff, it's going to be like egg roll, and she can add whatever money and still make good and eat, right?" So that feedback that somebody has gotten, and instead of giving it to this woman, decides to have another store or another center and then start selling. These are things that people see. These are things that these are things here. Sorry, that you can put to help to increase productivity, and feedbacks is always very important from not just the company but also the customers. Customers love to feel heard. They love to know that their feedbacks are valued, right? And because of if you notice too as well, when you're going through maybe your Google and maybe you want to download a new app, let's say you want to get game a new gaming app, right? Let's say I don't even know too much games, but let's just say you want to get maybe which game? Let's say Ludo game. Like that's like the only prominent one I know in my head. Let's say Ludo game, and uh, the first thing you go through when you try to tap on the app, you then see comment. Somebody's like, don't get this app. It has too many ads. It's always popping up and it's affecting what. And then another person like, oh, the sound is very terrible. The sound is very terrible. I can't concentrate when I'm playing the games. You read the feedbacks and somebody was like, oh, I downloaded it. I didn't understand what was going on with my phone. I had to delete it and all. So feedback are very important and they're very powerful. They're very powerful to your company. So these are things that you have to put into consideration and think about. So you have employee involvement. So remember I mentioned that for team members, you can always do team bonding activities. This is usually the role of HR, whereby they can bring up for ideas for the company to make sure to increase productivity. But as a PM too, you also have to be considerate about your team members and think about all of these things too as well. So when doing this or whilst doing this, so whilst doing this, they can. It's not necessarily must even be a team bonding project, event, or I don't know. Yeah, it's not project or whatever. It can also be courses, like I mentioned, whereby you assign courses to your team members, similar, just that one course for everybody to have the same thought process, and then you can also get them workshops too as well. Pay for workshops Okay, welcome back, class. Sorry about the network. I don't know. The network is really poor today. I don't know. It's supposed to be a Friday, and I don't know. Everything's supposed to be perfect. So let's just try our best to get a get a lot covered before the network decides on what it wants to do anymore. Okay. So we were talking about. I do not know why my slides is having problems. Okay. So I'm having little issues. Sorry guys, I'm taking so long. I'm really trying my best to share the screen, to share the slide. Today is a lot. Okay, so we spoke about the principles of continuous quality control. No, no, this is the wrong slide. Oh God, what is going on? Yeah, I'm aware of where we are, but I think the network is affecting the slide. It's not letting me share the slides properly. I'm not even touching my screen anymore, and the slides keep, I don't know what they're doing. At this point, I'm just exhausted trying to rectify this. I don't know. Can I get help from the technical team? Because the slides are just having a mind of their own at this point. Okay, I think I now have. Okay, I don't have control. Okay, I still don't have control over my screen. Oh God, can you guys hear me? I honestly do not know what is going on. The day I decided we're going to have a very short class. Okay, and now I'm full screen. God, let me see if it will accept me to share the slides one more time. Okay, let's do this one more time. Let's hope this works out. In Jesus' name, we walk. Today is really difficult for me. My father. Today, we need you to take control of this. Come on, person and get to the slide later. You can just explain if you have access. Okay. So, um, Sarah just said she gave a very good point that I should just try and explain from my own points. Okay, great. I think we can do that, I will complete without the slides. Thank you so much for understanding that today has just been showing everybody a lot of problems. Let's me not use the other word um, other persons have been using. So we're talking about continuous improvement, right? And I'm glad a lot of you have the slides, meaning that you can proceed even after all this. So in the point where we stopped at data-driven decisions and process optimization and sustainability. For process optimization, we're talking about the goal to refine and enhance project processes to achieve higher efficiency, reduce waste, and produce better outputs for fewer resources, right? And sustainability is all about making sure that you can carry your customers, your clients with you in a very suitable manner, right? Nobody wants to lose customers or clients. Everybody wants to keep their clients happy. Everybody wants to make sure that their clients falls through or follow back, right? Or follow back with everything that the company stands for. And the more you can carry your consumers, your clients along with your project or your product or whatever industry you're working with, it means that you're doing something very right. So those are principles for continuous improvement. So for the principles, we said data driven decisions, employee involvement, customer focus, sustainability and process optimization and incremental changes. So we have continuous improvement models. We have the plan, do, check. Remember in the last class we spoke about the plan, do, act, and check circle. It's also like a methodology that you can use to plan, to identify the problems, to identify well the solutions, to identify the processes for tackling a task, to do it, to make sure that after you've done your planning, you've done your scheduling, you've done everything, you're executing it properly. Just because you have a fine theory to go with doesn't mean that you shouldn't back it up with sustainable actions, right? Everybody likes seeing a very good laid out plan, but what drives more actions or drive more productivity is when everybody can clearly see that you are actually doing everything right. You are actually putting in the work and checking. We're always talking about reevaluation. Always make sure to reevaluate your work. Always make sure to, um, even though you see that the process is going well, always make sure to still make sure that you don't miss that very tiny thing that will just set you apart when you try to present. And funny enough, in checking, if you do, there was a time I had a presentation. I had gone through my presentation so many times, and then just for me to open my screen and to share it all with with the clients, and I just saw a very small mistake. I didn't put like a comma. I was having very tiny minimalistic uh mistakes. At some point I knew where my mistakes were coming from because I think at that time I was very stressed. So uh, I was making a lot of I was making very nano mistakes that shouldn't be there. You understand that on a normal day prior to me being stressed or not being that stressed, I could have overcome such a thing. But yeah, always reevaluate it, even if it's not you that is going to check it. Make sure that somebody shall checks it too, and somebody shall sees that this is not this is something, because as trivial or as little, and have good rapport with people when you're working with them, um so that they won't feel intimidated, or they won't feel what's the word, like you would attack them when they point out your mistakes. That's why you should have a very and a very approachable and relatable relationship with your team members, your colleagues, subordinates, whatever position you find yourself. Just make sure that you are approachable and relatable. Then acting, making sure that each stage, make sure that you act up on the feedbacks you get, you act upon the processes. You understand? All those are very important things for you to act on. Make sure that you go through your budget and you act on it too as well. Because budgeting is pretty much like the backbone of a project. It renders you either handicapped, crippled, or gives you wings to fly, right? To make all the right decisions and make sure that the project reaches optimum efficiency or is effective enough. So those are things you have to put in consideration in one of the points. And then we have lean methodology. When you think of lean methodology, it's like lean person, somebody that is lean. When you say this person is lean, sorry, yeah, a lean person. When a lean person is not can go into any small hole, right? Even those barricades, or what do you call them? Those iron bars, right? If a fat person can't go through it, but a slim person can go through it, right? So with lean methodology, it helps you to manage, right? It helps you to really manage. You are draining your resources. You are using your resources well to the utmost result, right? That you can do that. In lean methodology, or in lean in lean methodology, it helps you to know how to use your resources right. You will know how to use your resources right. You will not be excessive with your spending, because when you think of the money you're working with, or when you think of the resources you have to work with, you have to tighten and buckle up. You can't have waiting time. With lean methodology, you try your best to make sure that every task or every responsibility is being attended to and defects. It helps when you use methodology. There is most likely a very small team that you're working with, right? So everybody has to be making sure that they're in everybody's business. Nobody is minding their business. Everybody is in everybody's business. So with lean methodology, it doesn't help you. It helps you to use your resources right. It helps in productivity because you can keep track of everybody. It's not a large crowd they're working with, it's just pretty much a very small crowd. And then over processing, you make sure that each process is done, because since it's small, since it's minimal, it's controllable to some certain level, right? So for lean methodology, it's eliminating waste and delivering maximum value to your customer, to your team members, to the project at large. And then we have continuous improvement in project management process. Continuous improvement can be applied in various aspects, which is process improvement. We already mentioned it. Risk management, stakeholder engagement, quality management, and time, cost, and efficiency. For I think the only point I didn't mention when it comes to in the continuous process, apart from the process and risk management, is stakeholder engagement. I've mentioned stakeholder engagement, which is whereby the stakeholders are being carried along your uh, in your project. The fact that you are the fact that they are updated, the fact that they know what is going on, the fact that they also have access to seeing the product rates and they are getting feedback from not just bad feedbacks, right? They're getting tangible, realistic feedback to work with. Because there's some people that would just be like, oh yeah, we did this, we did that, we did this. Okay, we did this, we did that. But we're not seeing results, we're not seeing manpower, we're not seeing efficiency, right? So these are things that you have to also put into consideration when you're trying to also improve with your quality, with project quality, right? Time, cost, and efficiency. I will always mention you always have to have deadline, because funny enough, the time deadlines and timelines all have a way of affecting cost, have a way of affecting the budget, have a way of affecting the budget. I So have a way of always affecting the budget. So you have to be very time constrained. You have to always make sure that the money or the budget you have, it's tallying with the time frame you have. If it's not something that can manage after that timeline, honestly, it's going to be draining to not just you but also to the stakeholders, to your team members, because when you keep running, the people that might not even be feeling the pain might even be the suppliers, or maybe external services, or people that you might have outsourced for the work. Because at the end of the day, them, they know that you are definitely going to pay them their money and they don't care. Highest people that can be understandable with you is your team members and in-house, and to some extent, I don't even think your customers will be very reasonable at that time. So you have to think of a way to make sure that time and cost, you understand, is also something that you're very practical about and very conscious about in your in one of the principles of continuous improvement model. So we have five, which is tools and technique of continuous improvement. We have root cause analysis, we have control charts, we have SWOT analysis, a framework used to identify a project strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, which can help teams prioritize area for improvement. And under all this, chart controls too as well. You remember how we're always talking about how visualization really helps you as a project manager. It really helps you as a project manager, because when people can see the visual goal, or they can understand or liaise with you on what you're trying to sell them, right? Be it in maybe a node chart or in a Gantt chart, right? Control charts, it just shows, it really helps you to be productive, to be constantly productive, and making sure that everybody's being carried along in the processes, right? So we have six, which is benefits of continuous improvement, is enhanced efficiency, improved quality, cost savings, greater flexibility, increased employee engagement, better customer satisfaction. In the improvements, what you get to see is that you save a lot of money. And who doesn't want to see that the project that they estimated to be 10 million naira or 15 million naira, at the end of the day, it was just 7 million naira that was spent, and there's extra money in the budget for another project, or for them to even fund maybe something for the company in another sector or something. You get cost saving is one of the um, importance, or one of the benefits rather of continuous improvement models for uh for continuous improvement models, methodology rather. And then we have greater flexibility. The fact that you know that this worked in the last project and can still be infused in this project helps you to be able to move swiftly from each phases, each stages, right? And gives you great results. Costs improved quality makes, because of the fact that you have continually made sure that, okay, for example, let me give you a branding example. Cowbell, no, let's not use Cowbell. Let's use Coca-Cola. Yes, let's use Coca-Cola. I don't think we're supposed to be using brand names, but let's just use them as an example. Coca-Cola's bottle. If you should see the first bottle of Coca-Cola, it's very funny. It's very not demure. Yeah, it's very not demure. You will know that this person is just drinking this thing to just get over with his life, right? But along the way, they realized that branding mattered, and they brought out finer bottles, and even the color is different. Oh my goodness. Ishel says she can't hear me. Is that actually a problem? Nobody can hear me. So nobody. Okay, okay. It shows my network. Thank you very much. So yeah, better customer satisfaction. So a happy customer is always the joy of any company, any project manager, any team member. If you are not happy with success, I feel that that person is enemy of progress, right? Because why won't you be happy with success? So the fact that you can satisfy your customers, your clients, it's something that you should always look forward to. It's something that you can always re-strategize for. Repeat those business strategy, those that business strategy that you worked with. Um, is it the branding that you need to work on? Is it the packaging you need to work on? Is it the resources? Is it the suppliers? Are we going to go up with the new trend to make sure that the last product that they had from us, if we go to meet them or go to approach them with a new project, it's going to make them appreciate us more. So yeah, better customer satisfaction, meaning that we've done our research, we've done our work, and we are going to make sure that we give quality assurance to our projects, stakeholders, clients, or even the team members. I feel the team members also deserve that credit, right? To enhance efficiency, um they say walk. I don't know why all the sayings in my head today are just running out of my head, but they say you don't work harder, you work smarter, right? You work smarter. So for enhanced efficiency, the fact that you knew that this worked last time, or this is how it worked, and everybody is efficient with their roles, everybody is delivering, it reduces delay times for us um to work on a project. We are faster when we're delivering because everything is on set, and lower cost because when we look into the time when we look into the time frame, let's say we set it for 10 days and we can accomplish it in 3 days, the rest of the 7 days is money well saved because of there are no much costs. There are no much costs for you. There are no much costs for you to bother yourself about, right? So we have um, key continuous improvement models. We have the challenges. For challenges can be resistance to change, resource limitations, maintaining momentum, data availability. So the fact that you're always trying to make your team members to work can be exhausting because even you self, I'm sure some of these things, if it's long term, it can be exhausting. You having something that you're doing constantly over and over and and over again. These are things that you can face as a challenge when you're trying to continuously to have this quality or yeah, to implement continuous improvement, right? And we also have data availability. Imagine having no data to work with, or you don't get enough feedbacks, or your clients are not satisfied with your work. Like I mentioned, it can lead to low momentum and it can affect you as a PM. And then the project will be having some kind of, up and downs, which shouldn't be, right? Because you're a professional and you're meant to do the right thing always, right? So you have to make sure to have good data that you can work with. Always make sure that it's always available. It's always available. Your data, your team should always make it a thing that they must they must have what's it called? They must have their reports that you can work with. It's not because of I'm being understandable that you will not give me reports. No, you have to have reports. The each department, yeah. If you got the slide for the last class, it's exactly the same slide for this one. It's exactly the same slide for this one. Okay, it's exactly the same slide for this one. So yeah, we have resistance to change. Resistance to change can be that persons and the team members could be tired of using the normal traditional methods, you understand, and maybe the same workflow. So, like I always say, agile is the best. You can always try to switch up, try to be flexible, or even if the flexibility does not work, then try doing waterfall. Just don't make sure that everybody gets too comfortable in one space or in one thing and affects the whole project at large. So, in conclusion, continuous improvement is a vital aspect of modern project management, enabling teams to deliver better quality results, reduce waste, and adapt to changing environments. In a nutshell, all that I'm going to say is that continuous improvement will help you to reduce waste. It will help you to make your job to be the best, to be smooth, to be easy. It improves efficiency, it improves work, it improves customer satisfaction. And there are other benefits to it. Once you get the slide, please go ahead, go through it, and then we can prepare for the quizzes or whatever you face in the next week. But then we have come to the end for this. I'm really sorry about the network issues. I really wanted us to finish this class super early, but God has his own plans, and Nigeria have their own plan, and network has his own plan, right? Um, don't worry, if you can't find the slides, we're going to send the slides again today. Since you can't get it, I'm going to follow up about the slide today, that everybody gets the slide regardless, right? But I'm still surprised persons have gotten the slide and some other persons are saying otherwise. But thank you so much, everybody. I'm sorry again about the network issue. Let's always make time for the classes regardless. And please, please, and please, and please do have a nice day, right? Okay, they don't have the slide yet. Okay, okay, please. We'll see to it that you get the slide very soon. My apologies. I'm sorry about that. And yeah, we'll make sure the slide gets to you. So yeah, apparently I found out that it hasn't been sent to everybody yet. Sorry on my own end. So everybody, good night. Have a great week. God bless you, and yeah, I love you all. Bye.